going to be reading the title story from a short story collection that I'm working on called Blood and Belonging, and this piece is also called Blood and Belonging. I'm starting a little bit into the piece, so to give you some context, Zoe is the main character, and she's looking back on a summer where she visited her grandmother in Mississippi, and she finds love and affection with a friend and is having trouble understanding why she doesn't love her cousin as much. So. After that day, I saw Madeline as much as I could. In my grandma's wide, unkept backyard, we would pick the weeds and learn each other, talk about the things that hurt us, that settled deep in our bones like moss on damp bark. Annie never wants me around. It's like she hates me, I said. I picked a dandelion, gave it to Madeline. She paused, held the white seeded flower to her lips, thinking, well, maybe one day she will. Maybe one day she'll learn not to be so mean. She blew. We watched the wind take the seeds into the clouds of trees behind us. Talking helped make wounds into scabs that I knew one day would be scars. Mostly she made me feel seen, as if I'd never been transparent. How could the mirror have lied to me? I have a face pulled over a jaw and muscles stretched across my back, but still, there was Andy making everything harder. The woods behind Grandma's house were the best to climb. Madeline took my hand and we ran across the yard, tall grass sticking to our socks like our shirts to our damp backs. The cicadas yowled, a chorus. Canopy of leaves filtered the sun, shadows cutting shapes onto the ground. Grandma warned me of ticks and fleas, but still, I followed Madeline, the many critters of Mississippi forgotten in the wake of her gap-toothed smile. We passed the trees we had climbed the days before. We ran further, running towards the sound of a distant movement. I squeezed her hand. Then she slowed, the water a constant hushing, her steps less sure. Me not understanding, I squeezed her hand. My brother used to bring me up here. Her hand dropped away as she walked to the edge of the river and sat. I could tell that the water was lower than usual. Tracks dragging like fingernails in the earth meant the river could be as high as the tree line. Up until then, I had done a lot of the talking, but this felt different. So I sat still, watching her, listening. My brother used to carry me on his back. Oh, Zoe, his back was so wide, too wide, it felt like holding onto a plank of wood. But his hands under my knees felt like leather bootstraps, keeping me right where I was. I knew I'd never fall. Not with his hands, not on his wooden back. Mama told him to stop taking me up here, that accidents happen where wild things live in the dark. He told her he was wilder than all the things. And he was. My brother would brawl in bars with grown men, catch garden snakes with teeth, and cook them just for fun. He would climb all the way to the top of trees, his body bending and snapping thick branches. His laugh would silence the crickets. Mama told him after a week of rain to wait a few days before coming up here. But he loved the sound. When this bed is full after a rain, it looks like beef stew. Black rocks jutting out of the flush maroon water, leaves floating on the surface like lily pads. And it was 3 years ago. I was 10, like you. He had woken me up early so we would sneak past Mama and listen to the river whisper. I climbed on his back and we followed the sound of it, like it was calling his name. The mist hung in the air around the trees. The ground was sweating. When we finally got to the river, it was beautiful. He set me down next to him and we watched the movement, the rush of it. The sound was coaxing me closer, and even though he told me to never step closer than he was, I didn't listen. The clay was wetter than I thought, and I slid in. He grabbed my arm and pulled, but my legs were caught in something below the water. I felt his roots tangled in my toes, wrapped around my ankles. He leaned over and tried to get his hand around whatever it was, but he couldn't unwrap my feet. He slid into the river next to me, one hand on a branch sticking out of the bank, his other hand yanking at the roots near my legs. The water was just under my chest, but I couldn't breathe. He pulled and snapped until I was free. He pushed me up the slick bank, but I slid back in. He pushed over, and I dug my feet into the mud to help until finally I was free. I rolled over and laughed, closed my eyes as the sun broke apart the clouds. When I opened them, Henry was gone. I yelled his name, stuck my hand in the water, followed the river until the noises scared me. I ran home. Without Henry, everything felt so much bigger. I waited for her to continue, but she didn't. I let out the breath I'd been holding, the tension of sitting so still, entranced by her, locked in my muscles. Madeline's lips were drawn inside her mouth, words halted, a dam. It had felt like the river itself were telling the story. It finished for her when she couldn't go on, kept talking as the waters swept past us. I looked down at my feet and wondered if this was the exact spot it all happened. I'd never lost anyone as she had back then, not for a long time, not until Grandma lost herself to dementia in my mid-20s. I wrapped an arm around her, and she buried her face in my shoulder. We stayed like that way a long time, listened to the trees sway against one another, sisters to the sound of the stirring river. Thank you.